So, the Supreme Court is allowing California to use their redistrict maps in time for the election. And so, a lot of these issues is that we're in a circular race to the bottom when it comes to American politics and kind of our future, right? But in the meantime, this is an example of how Democrats are actually matching the Republicans when it comes to preparing. Because this is the thing, preparing for the next part. Because I think a lot of people want the Democratic Party to fight back, but the point is that the Democrats got complacent in believing that the system was something that both sides wanted to maintain, right? And you can't do that with people who don't follow the actual rules. And so, in a perfect world, gerrymandering would not exist, right? Massachusetts would not have helped to kickstart that for everything. But it is an example of utilizing their same game plan, but for your own purposes. Like this is what people want. I don't. I don't subscribe to the idea that everything needs to be just blown up and restarted, right? People need to actually fight for what they actually want to get done, and you're gonna have to match energy. And so it's I don't feel particularly um I guess downtrodden that we're starting to see these gerrymandered redistricting fights, because if you go into like the Texas redistricting, right? The Supreme Court claimed that Texas was allowed to do that because it wasn't racial, but it was partisan, right? Um, Given this asinine like explanation, even though we can see with our own eyes kind of what's going on, like eliminating, I think it was possibly Al Green and Jasmine Crockett's representative seats, and if I missed another one, I'm sorry, but like there were real consequences to the Texas one, and so if you want the Republicans to realize that this is like a game that everyone loses at, they have to understand their own kind of negative consequences of that, right? Republicans in Texas were celebrating that. Republicans around the country were celebrating this. Donald Trump was celebrating it. But now you see on the other end, right? To show them, hey, if you go far, we will go even further. To me, that's the only way to get these sick people to participate and to kind of like behave themselves. Now, when it comes to mid-decade redistricting, there's about 14 states, right? Um, I think if I know them off the top of my head, we got California, there's Utah, there's Wisconsin, Illinois, Maryland, Virginia, and I think New York on the Democratic side. On the Republican side, it is, of course, Texas. There's Florida, Ohio, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio, and I'm probably forgetting one. But basically, the thing is that this is not just an isolated incident with California, right? We are every a good number of states are involved in this, and this is an example of using the excesses of the Republican Party against them. That will be the only way to kind of get them to realize that in this example, you will not gain as much as you want. And to me, I don't really subscribe to the idea that we need to blow up the entire system. You need to make people want to defend the system, I think. And that's where you get these better outcomes, right? Because um, honestly, the Democratic Party being complacent is what kind of got us here, right? And believing that the Republicans would not do certain things. But if they lose that like naive mentality, right, and remember that they are a political party that wants to win elections, they will go forward with these things because the point is to win, right? And you want your side to win. And so, I guess like five representative seats were just gained because Donald Trump and the Republicans are scared of what happens in the midterm elections when people vote. And this is the other thing, right? Donald Trump threatening to nationalize elections, right? Not only would he be violating another constitutional amendment, which people are like, oh, he doesn't care, right? I get that. America is a massive country, right? And the federal government does employ a lot of people, but you do not have enough people to nationalize 15 states worth of elections. And then also, they may also have to send themselves into Texas because a lot of the, I guess, reliance that the Republican parties had on like Hispanics within Texas that is starting to basically evaporate because of the aggressive actions suggested by Stephen Miller, right? And then you also see that in Maine, because of the very, very violent and very, very public actions of ICE, they are unpopular no matter your political affiliation, which you can see vulnerable Republicans are like, you're going to lose me this election if you go there. And so you're actually starting to see ICE wind down in Maine so that they don't risk Susan Collins' seat. So regardless if people want to acknowledge it or not, there are certain repercussions to the actions and excesses of the Republican Party at this time. And like the redistricting fight with California and six other Democratic states, I mean, six other Democratic minded maps is an example, right? You're also seeing the fact that ICE is causing election consequences that they have to consider. So we'll see this and we'll basically see how it all continues.